Hey everybody, it's Jen, and welcome to my channel. Um, or welcome back, or hey guys, how are you? And so yeah, I am I was gonna say a mature lady, but those that know me know that maturity really isn't my thing. Um, I'm an older lady, and I'm getting married to a younger man who happens to be a Honduran national. A lot of people like to play with that. Anyway, I am doing this YouTube channel mostly to keep my friends informed. Hopefully, I can take off. If it takes off and I make some money off it, all the better. I normally like to upload my vlogs on Mondays, but taking a page out of the millennial playbook. I'm not getting paid for this, so when you start paying me, I'll start doing my job good. Okay, so okay, what's that mean? Did I hurt a millennial's feelings? I might have. Oh no. So anyway, Cash and we're gonna get you caught up on what I did last week, which I had to go to Tallahassee. I think I was vlogging about that. And I went to Tallahassee, and long story short, I was able to order the paper that I need um, online, but I now completely wonder how the Florida Department of the Law Enforcement at the state level, how I wonder how a lot of those people wake up and dress themselves for work. Wow. It was quite an experience. Quite a view of. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I also, man, this is not a cold. This is allergies in Florida. My allergies are kicking up, and I'm just post nasal. I hate it. Um. So anyway, I dropped in on my cousin Kimmy on the way back, and Kim and Buddy, and it's so funny. Like so many, I have so many cousins. I'm like, oh, I stopped in, saw my cousin, and people that know me go like, oh, which one? Which cousin, Jen? How many? Which? Where? I have cousins everywhere. Shout out to my cousin down in Puerto Aventuras in Mexico. I will be down in Playa del Carmen soon. I have a dentist appointment, and I go to the dentist in Playa. And when I don't know if I'll be able to continue in Playa when I go somewhere else, because plans changing. Yes, plans are changing because of this little sweetie pie. He's my sweetie pie. He's my baby Cash dog, and I found out looking into things that Honduras is high risk for canine rabies. And even though I'm vaccinated and he's vaccinated and Sammy's vaccinated, if I take them to Honduras, they cannot come back. They cannot come directly back to the United States because no dog from any country with high risk of rabies can come directly back to the United States. They have to be in like somewhere else than a high risk rabies country for 6 months before they can come back. So that would mean either 6 months quarantine someplace or I don't know. But I'm just not willing to put my baby Bubba's through that. There were other reasons. Narlan started looking for places for us to live in Honduras, and I was going like, he was kind of dragging his feet. And I was like, Narlan, what? Why are you dragging your feet? Because all the questions come up is, do you still want to get married? All this stuff. And he said, I don't think you like living here. I don't think you want to live here. I think, think 6 months down here and you'd be like, you don't like it. And so we stopped and thought about that and went, okay, Honduras is Honduras. And Tegucigalpa is Tegucigalpa. Could I live there? Yeah. Would I pick it? No. And so, yeah, he's right about that. And with everything else, everybody's saying, "Oh no, it's a level 4 country for American and this and that and the other thing. It's like, okay, yeah, none of that matters. None of that matters. What really matters is that Narlan and I set our marriage up to be successful. And if I'm living somewhere where I'm not happy, it's going to be harder. Right? That's kind of logical. It's a little bit logical. And so we decided to nix that idea. I have a funny story about this. I kind of crack up on this because we had talked about Canada, and Canada is, because the USA is not an option for us right now, neither is Canada. And we will have to wait about 3 to 5 years for either one of those to become an option. And Narwan and I being married and for over 2 years is part of that. So we're kind of like, okay, we'll get married, we'll da da da. And but he said, well, then, maybe Canada, because I don't know about the USA and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, Canada's cold. He said, well, we can get over cold. And I said, yeah, but Canada's very, over-the-top liberal. And people there are very over-the-top liberal, like my Canadian cousins and stuff. They are very, very over-the-top liberal. And that makes them kind of hateful. Hateful. If you don't buy into their politicalness, they really do. They hate you. They think you're a bad person. You're so American bad, and you're a terrible person. And I mean, my cousin and my aunt and all that, they hate me for that. My aunt got really upset with me one day because she was talking about healthcare, and I was like, yeah, I would like to see all Americans have healthcare. She goes, well, what about Canadians? I'm like, well, what about Canadians? I don't live in Canada. I don't vote in Canada. How your government is and what your people in Canada have, that's up to Canada. I'm an American. I'm a Canadian also, but I don't identify as a Canadian. And I don't live in Canada, and I don't vote in Canada, and I don't involve myself in Canadian politics because of that. And they're not here. So why are they even worried about American politics? Well, it affects Canada. Well, too bad. Too bad. Yeah, everybody's stuff affects everybody. But America has to do what's best for Americans because that's their job. That's their job. That's the job of the American government, is to take care of Americans. Not to take care of Canadians, not to take care of Ukrainians, not to take care of Palestinians or anything else. The job of the American government is to take care of Americans and protect their interests. So anyway, I digress. But I'm like, okay, yeah, I kind of wouldn't want to live in Canada. And I have these very strong feelings. I'm very American. I can't not feel the way I feel and all that. And yeah, it would be a problem for me. And so another country that came up was Mexico. And I was like, I could easily live in Mexico. I like Mexico. And now I go, I don't know. I'm like, what? Well, now one feels about Mexico kind of like how I feel about Canada. Okay, so people from other parts of the world may mistake. I mean, a lot. Well, whatever. People, maybe Americans would be like, oh, aren't Canadians Americans a lot alike? No, they're not. They're really not. We're not. We're two very, very separate countries. We have two very, very different ways of being. And people look at, Americans, and I know especially Americans, if you're from south of the border, you're Mexican, and Norlan finds that very, very offensive. He's like, no, I'm Honduran. We are very different. And the Honduran people they're very, very different than the Mexican people. They're very different from the people from El Salvador, from Nicaragua, from all the places in South America. But if you drive around and you see Hispanic-looking people up on a roof, putting the roof up there, what are you going to say? Well, there's a bunch of Mexicans working up there. Right? I mean, that's what That 99% of my friends would say. That's what I would say. Oh, I might, now I wouldn't. Now I wouldn't. After being with Nolan, I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, well, definitely Hispanic, but, what flavor? I have no idea. But there's a very, but they all know, all these different groups know, they can identify very quickly when they're around each other. If you're from Mexico, if you're from Venezuela, if you're from Honduras, if you're from El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, blah, 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 they all know very much. And it's, even their Spanish, this shouldn't surprise anybody. And even in the United States, even in England, different areas have different accents and use the language a little bit differently. So, same thing with with them. No one can, of course, go to Mexico and understand all the Spanish there, but they speak it differently. Their turns of phrases are different. Their jargon and their slang is different. And yeah, I didn't think about that too much before I started dating Melanie. Sometimes I hate where I live. Like, this place is, it seems like it's always under construction, and they finished building the houses all time ago. But oh my God, constantly. Can you hear it? I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a trash man. I don't know. Or the recycle. Today's recycle day. That's a recycle truck. But so yeah, so he's kind of like with Mexico. Guatemala, El Salvador, high risk rabies, high risk rabies. Costa Rica, I could take the dogs to Costa Rica, but Costa Rica is is a harder visa for Narwan. So yeah, we're looking here, looking there, going there. So I think right now we're looking into checking out Spain. So once we get married, we'll be going to Spain for some time. The dogs will not be going with us on our initial trip, and I hate that. I hate that I can't just travel with my dogs. But yeah, I don't know yet if I'm gonna be having them stay with my friend Candy or if I'm gonna pay more. I don't have any idea yet. I need to figure that out. I hate to be away from them. That's why I don't like to think about it. But anyway, so I have all this stuff coming up. I have to go to Mexico. I have to go to Honduras to get married. We're going to be probably going to, well, not probably, right now we're going to Spain. Today we're going to Spain. But tomorrow that could change. So, I don't know. But anyway, that's where things are, and I hope to be able to get out in Mexico and Honduras and get some footage and video of places there. That's more than just the potholes in Honduras. I get really bad with just I'm too in the moment sometimes to want to pull my phone out, but I really do want to share some of these places I go with people. I meet interesting people. I do interesting things. I'm usually, before not long, I was on my own doing a lot of this. So, I don't know. I just have my own take on everything. I do the world my own way. It is what it is. So anyway, that's all I got for today, and I shall talk to you later. But you guys, I don't know. Your friends might be interested. Send them over. Like, subscribe, give me a comment. I'll comment back. I need some engagement. Get myself put out there. Because I would like to make some money out of this. Hey, it's free for you, right? It's free for you. So anyway, talk to you all later. Ciao.